of single mothers in the region and knocking on Africa. So what exactly is the problem here? We also know that today, a morning like this, the highest purchased drug is an emergency contraception on a Monday morning, and it's bought by girls and women between the ages of 15 and 36. Why is this happening? But even while that is being the most sought after drug, we also see that too many teens are getting pregnant. They're still children.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want. A 16-year-old is a child. Batuk is leaving Kenya, finally. Now, many would say that you want to question, why wouldn't Kenya continue to be a site where the British can train? But it's a shadow of impunity and how years of alleged atrocities finally led to Batuk's departure. Was it that Kenya refused to process the license for this training to continue in Laikipia? Or was it that Kenya said, you know what, it's too much? I will not forget the blue-eyed boys of this area.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That there were too many children born out of relationships between British soldiers and Kenyan women.
Yeah.
Again, the things that we don't want to discuss, we shall discuss them. In the opinion pages today, Sifuna and Natembeya have injected fresh hope into Luo politics. It's coming in from Joseph Nyaringo, and that's what's on the opinion pages today. While that's going on, WAFCON is also happening in Morocco, and Glasgow is home to the Commonwealth Games, which I was actually watching over the weekend. And I asked myself a question. Why is it that even after the deconstruction of the British Empire, because you know that's what the Commonwealth Games was, is that the British Kingdom sat and said, all my colonies come and perform for me sports. That's what they did. We're still doing it till today. But we're calling it the Commonwealth Games, and people are flying into Glasgow to, perform for an audience. But not to take away from the sportsmen and women who are doing everything that they can and an amazing job to honor their sports. But then that's the question that comes from the Commonwealth Games. All right, over to you, sir.
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
Yep.
Battle for Western is the headline. Now, it is Christian as a battleground. ODM has dominated the region, but Raila Odinga's death has upset the status quo. Now, the Linda Mwananchi Brigade, led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, concluded a 2-day tour of Western Kenya yesterday. On a day, President Ruto visited Busia, underlining the region's importance in the 2027 State House contest. Now, in the 2022 elections, Ruto staged an upset by winning Bungoma, polling 250,000 plus votes that proved decisive to the presidential poll victory with a razor-thin margin over his closest challenger, Raila Odinga. With the 5 western counties so far accounting for 2.92 million registered voters, the country's third largest bloc after Mount Kenya, Nairobi, the scramble for the region is well underway. And then we have 2 pictures where President William Ruto addresses members of the public yesterday after attending the consecration and enthronement of Dr. Vitalis Job Ekuru as the 4th Bishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya Diocese of Katakwa in Amagoro, Busia County. That again is in Western. And this is Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna addressing a Linda Mwananchi homecoming rally in Bungoma town yesterday as the opposition brigade wrapped up 2-day political tour of Bungoma and Trans Nzoia counties. So it's a clear image of what was happening the other side of Busia and in Bungoma. And I can see a lot of police officers. The other side, I can't see a single police officer. I can see buses. I can't see buses.
Yeah.
That right there is a statement, a comparison of what was happening over the weekend, right? Now, confusion over varsity fees funding grows. Now, confusion over the government's promise of free university education has deepened after President William Ruto and Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba appeared to contradict each other on the legal framework that will anchor the policy. One asked the question, when the president was speaking, he was speaking out of what advice? Now that you see the cabinet secretary, the implement of the policy is speaking a different language from what the president said. Is this government working together? I always ask myself that question.
Do you want the kosher version or do you want the political version?
The truth.
That there was no plan.
Thank you.
There is no plan, and nobody knows what the hell is going on at the Ministry of Education. And that from a top-down model, there was no plan. And that is dangerous, especially when you're dealing with the futures of children and then older adults who then go into the university system. There's no plan. And I can't entirely blame the president. I will also blame the Ministry of Education, who you told us. Okay, so now when you came out and told us that you don't know the unit cost of education from ECDC to tertiary, you don't know. So have you found out?
They still haven't.
Exactly.
They still haven't.
I beg,
because even then, if you ask the president how much he's going to be paying for a single student, depending on what course they're doing, he can't tell the unit cost of, say, taking a medical student, taking an engineer, a teacher. How much does it cost for him to come tell us, I'm going to pay for all of you to go to campus?
Jared, they're just disturbing somebody's head. Look. You say you're going to pay. How much are you going to pay?
Exactly.
You don't even know how much you're going to pay because your boys over here don't know how much it costs.
Where's the framework?
I beg.
Anyway, Dream Jobs Dark Web, the syndicate trapping unemployed youth. So investigations have uncovered a growing network of trafficking syndicate that lure young Kenyans with the promise of lucrative jobs only to force them into producing explicit content. This mostly happens especially when many leave for Southeast Asia. It happens. Kazi Maju. Anyway, Adongo dared to dream, made Kenya proud, met harsh end. That's a sad story.
Very sad story.
That's a very sad story.
Hey.
And that's because at some point he couldn't control his temper. Look at what that temper did, because he was immediately dropped by the team.
Yeah.
And from then on, his life just went down the drain.
And he's been deported from the US now.
Yep. President Opposition battle for Mulembe Nation vote that has been expanded on page 4. Ruto dangles goodies in Western amid calls for Oparanya to be the deputy president.
Of what?
Of
Kenya. Sorry.
Deputy president. So President William Ruto's deputy president. Because Mulembe Nation is very important, is the only way they will get the votes. Remember, the neighbors, Mashemeji Aviko, said deputy president position is Marwa. I had to use that. It's Marwa as well, right? So, Gachagua unveils 2027 Mount Kenya poll strategy. Former DP declares his DCP party the dominant political vehicle in Mount Kenya, urges leaders to join it. Voter numbers giving president and his rivals sleepless nights. So President Ruto has complained about low voter registration numbers in his perceived political strongholds. How do you guys expect me to get back here if you are not registering? Question is, what incentives, what have you done for people to register and give you their vote?
I reckon that they're telling you something, but you're not listening.
Yeah.
That silence also implies something. Inaction also is action.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know. I could be talking through my feces.
No, it's true. Yeah. Why would I waste my time? Kenyans are asking themselves that question. You